suddenly a team like QPR have come from nowhere, and the team you play this weekend, Coventry, are probably thinking they're right in it if they win a couple more.
Yeah, I mean, Coventry, I never expected them to be where they were. They've got such quality in their squad, and at this level they've got some real top players, and we saw that they were unlucky against us earlier in the season, and I think they've suffered a bit of bad luck to why they're not higher in the league, and they've got a lot of quality. So, but you're right, QPR has done a great job, and there's teams coming out of the pack now, and it's all we can focus on is ourselves in the next game, performing to the best that we can, and let's really narrow our targets to short term again, because I feel like we were getting a little bit carried away with the playoff race. Let's just focus on the next game and be the best possible version of ourselves.
With Coventry in mind, obviously Frank Lampard in charge now, someone you know all about. What do you expect from them? They normally end seasons well, don't they?
Yeah, they've got this funny habit of starting quite slowly and then coming with a real charge. What I do know is they've got some quality players, and we're going to have to be really highly focused. They've got one of the very few clubs that are playing with a front two at the minute, which is something our defenders won't have to come up against too much. And since going to the 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, however you want to call it, they've had some real good results. So it's a strong test for us, but we've usually responded well to poor performances, and I expect the same.
Yeah, never quite sure what to expect now from Watford, which is something that's been a bit of a habit over the years.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do as a coach, to deal with as a coach. I know I keep referring to the basics, but I can say it till I'm blue in the face. I need to see more actions than talk. But like I said, we're not the only club that's suffering from these inconsistencies, and when you only make one change in the space of 3 days to see two such contrasting performances is frustrating. We were really poor away from home. Now we've only lost 2 of our last 6 away games, and now the home form's gone. So inconsistent season in many different aspects, but all we can do is continue to work as hard as we can to be as consistent as we can.
I know you've heard the songs the fans have sung, they've got your name in them, and that's lovely, but after Tuesday night and the setback, would you be saying to the fans who are going to Coventry, get behind the team more generally rather than just me?
Yeah, listen, I can't put words into people's mouths or control what they sing, and what I would say is me and the team are really inspired by how well our fans have supported us this season. If I could ask for more of a unified support or choice of song, I would say that would be fair for me to say, and make us look a little bit more behind the team than directing frustration somewhere. And we all know, beating around the bush, we know where that is and that lies. And all I would say is that I played for this club before the owner and after the owner, and before we had one training pitch, we had 3 sides to our stand. We had a very average treading water at championship level playing squad, and listen, I don't need to say any more, but like I said, we appreciate, and it is inspiring how much support we've had through tough times this season. Can we do it in a bit more of a unified way?
We haven't gone back to the Watford that you first saw when you first came, but we are sort of more back in the pack. But we've also shown in the time you were here that little Watford can go and mix it with the big boys. We shouldn't be discouraged by the fact that we're maybe not where we were before.
Yeah, and I think that the thing that you say there is all about us now. People say, February's fixtures. It really doesn't matter to me who we play. It is all about us being the best version of us, because I feel like if we see that, we can beat anyone. So fixture lists absolutely mean nothing to me right now. It is look at ourselves and put the best version of ourselves out there.
There's a table that I saw the other day that, in terms of spending since the start of the summer, Watford at the bottom, and then you look at our accounts, and you know they paint a relatively good picture, but we're not cash rich. Is that a sign that we can't take success for granted? We shouldn't take spending money in transfer windows for granted. We just can't do that.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones. I'm no financial expert in Championship football clubs, but I'd imagine a lot of them are losing money, and it's not easy, you know. And my job is to improve what's in the building. And yes, can I identify where we can strengthen? Yes. Can I help with that? Absolutely. But ultimately, I have to improve and get results with what we have in the building. And if we can keep our best players in the January window, I see that as a positive.
Within the budget that you know there is there wiggle room to recruit, or are we really looking at, you know, like you said, what we've got?
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure we'll have wriggle room to strengthen the depth of the squad, especially after the injuries. And I leave this window. I've said before, I have to concentrate on the team more in this window. In the summer window, I have the luxury of no league games going on, and June, July, I can have real input. But in this window, I have a lot on my plate to focus on with the team. So I'm leaving it more up to Gianluca, Scott, and the owner this one, and yeah, my focus is on the team.
After Tuesday, it was funny. I left the ground and I heard someone shouting, you know, "Change it up, Cleverley." But when you look at it, there isn't a lot of room to change it up. It isn't like you've got another shadow squad waiting to come in. You're pretty much hemmed into what you can do. Yeah,
it's always easy to say change it up when performances aren't as good as you want. I think people aimed at Valerian, we were too predictable. Change it up, and now we're a bit probably too unpredictable, and we've not found real consistency in a 3 or a 4. But yeah, we've got a thin squad at the minute. But like I said before, I've not said that once this season, because our availability record's been very good. So I'm not going to start now.
You talked a lot, and I found it really interesting talking about the elite player mindset. And I can imagine you go home and you feel down, you get up the next morning, and it probably still hurts them. Do you see that same reaction from your players? Is that another element of the mindset that does a defeat hurt them enough?
I'm sure, like everywhere, it hurts some more than others. And the modern day player has got a few more distractions away from the game or their careers that they don't seem as interested as maybe when I was a young player or even before that. All I would say is this group wouldn't have improved as much as I feel like they have if they weren't determined. And they wouldn't have come back from as many setbacks if they weren't determined to prove people wrong, be successful. And yeah, I fully trust I've got enough lads in there that care about the success of the football club to want to respond from Tuesday.
And you referenced percentage players who will give you a 7 out of 10 regardless. What's easier to work with? A player who is totally committed and got the right mindset but not very gifted, or a tremendously gifted player with a bad attitude?
I'm going to sit on the fence, and I'm going to say you'd probably want a squad of 90% that you can trust and you know what you're going to get and do the basics, and 10% that can win you a game. Now, I was in the 90%, so it's part of my learning to try and motivate that 10% and see how they see. But yeah, I think the balance of the squad, I wouldn't say one's easier than the other, because I don't think you can be successful without one or the other. But what I would say is you need a balance that's heavily, in this division, heavily focused on the consistent ones.
Is coaching mindset the hardest thing?
Good question. I actually enjoy it. So for me, I don't see it as the hardest thing, no. It's I really enjoy that emotional intelligence part of coaching, trying to tap into the players' minds and the dynamic of the group. So it wouldn't be one of the most difficult things for me. It's enjoyable.
Tom, Ryan Andrews and James Morris went on the bench midweek. Was there a reason for that?
Yeah, so Ryan knows that in the environment we go after training standards, and he wasn't at the levels in the last week or so. Now, we did the same with Ryan after Sheffield Wednesday away earlier in the season, and he responded very maturely. He knew that they weren't the standards that he set himself or we set as a group, and he will. I'm sure he will respond very well to being left out. Now James Morris is a little bit different when we play back four. James Morris only really covers the left back position, whereas other players in the back line can cover two positions on the bench. So James a little bit unlucky. Ryan, I'm sure will respond in a great way moving forward, like he did last time this happened. He hit his best form after being left out last time, and so yeah, those two have got a fighting chance to be involved on Saturday.
We spoke about Ken Sema at the last press conference. Do you think he might get some more opportunities given the injury situation at the club?
Yeah. Ken's been training with the group for a long time now. Obviously, a bit of uncertainty over his future and how much we want to use him, depending on what his future looks like. But Ken's got as good a chance of playing as anyone else. And yeah, with the injury concerns, and then he has a real live chance. And what I would say about Ken, he's always super professional. He looks after himself brilliantly well, and he's someone who will be ready to click at fingers.
Just finally, what are your memories of playing alongside Frank Lampard in an England shirt?
Yeah, it's obviously there's quite a few of my ex-teammates managing in the Championship, so it seems like one every 4 or 5 games I'm coming up against one, but we're not anymore. But I only played a handful of games with Frank. Excellent football player. Unbelievable eye for scoring a goal from midfield. I'm sure he's feeding a lot of that down to his midfielders, and a classy guy who will like to play football in the right way. So yeah, classy footballer and classy coach.